You'll forgive me, Web 101, for the slight, massive detour we're about to take here in Chapter 5. This is Configure List Style Markers. This is page 164. I just want to warn you here that this is deceptively present in every web page that you see. Now, with the way that we develop for the web, when you go to a web page, the one of the very first things, and I know we've talked about this in a previous video, but it's worth reminding you here, one of the first indicators of speed that you, the unknown potential future client, the consumer of our web pages, the first thing that you notice is how fast content resolves itself onto the page. Now, it doesn't all have to resolve itself at the same time. We can progressively load our pages so that, like text and the background colors and the foreground colors and things of that nature happen quickly, and then things like images and videos and things like that can progressively load as we go along. List style markers give us an opportunity to develop menus in a way that makes sense for how quickly pages can load. This is resolved for you in Chapter 7 again. But I am just laying the ground, not Chapter 7, my mistake. It's Chapter 11, but I'm just laying the groundwork here for where you would see that. This, again, is rockvalleycollege.edu. I know you're familiar. It's where we keep all of our stuff, right? So here on rockvalleycollege.edu, I'm just going to go ahead and view page source. So I went ahead and said view page source. If you are in Chrome or Safari or Edge or Firefox, there's either a keyboard shortcut that you can use. For me in Safari, this is burned into my memory. It's Option Command U. However, I do not have them memorized elsewhere. Most of the time, it's just a right click and then view source. So behind me here, and I know it's impossible to see, but that's okay. Behind me here, we have the page source for rockvalleycollege.edu. Now, this was not put together by a developer who sat down and just started banging out HTML and CSS. This was made using a template so that we could much more rapidly deploy these pages. But I'm just going to scroll down a little through here. I will point out, however, that already, if I was to turn you loose on this page, that I think that you would know what is happening. So right up here at the very top, you can see the head section already, and then meta tags inside there. Here you can see our link for the style sheet. You've already done this. There's a little bit of a JavaScript that's happening here that is managing our search engine optimization for Google. We have several style sheets that are connected here because these are part of the template, frankly. If I was just to scroll down a little bit here, what I did want to show was, and this doesn't happen until line like 157 in the code, but we can see here, this chunk of code is one of our, this chunk of code is one of our menu sets on rockvalleycollege.edu. So you can see it here. It's saying for each one of these list items in our unordered list, this is a 2-column navigation bar. So we can see that when we click on our first item, that's going to go to student life, get involved, index.php. It's going to say student organization. That loads instantaneously because it's just a collapsed list item in a collapsed unordered list. So our new item, our second one, rockvalleycollege.edu, goes to our catalog. The third one goes to resources for the student handbook. The fourth one goes to, it goes on and on and on. So here in Chapter 5, you are going to see list style markers for traditional bulleted lists, essentially. So we could change them for the Trillium Media, for example, from bullet points to 4-leaf clovers, 3-leaf clovers anyway. Fantastic. We could change a rockvalleycollege.edu one to have, our little eagle logo for each of those bullet points. But in the long run, we use these list style markers. We give them no style, but then we use them as part of our menu structures rather than relying on like a JavaScript to provide us with those collapsible accordion type menus like we used to have to do. It's built into CSS now. And again, if we can rely on HTML and CSS, that makes things a lot faster. I will admit to you that was a side sortie, but we'll see it again in chapter 11, and it's completely and totally undescribed. So I'm laying the groundwork here.